Hello, everyone. Welcome to a webinar to tell you how DejaCode will provide a license compliance and vulnerability tracking solution for you for your product inventories. We're looking at DejaCode now. This is a specific data space for a company called Starship, and I'm logged in to take care of some product review, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do there. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at one of these. This is a product in DejaCode that was created a little while ago, and it has a product inventory, which you can see. Now, one of the things we want to emphasize in this webinar is that for license compliance, it means not just complying, but communicating that compliance with other people, and also being able to get that information from other people from the third-party products that you use that you can incorporate into your product. So this product we have called Cargo Manager is a collection of packages that we call the inventory. And this inventory, we're going to come back to this screen several times, is connected with everything else in DejaCode. But one of the things I want to show you right away, because it's a very important of license compliance, is that once you have built a product in DejaCode and reviewed it, or even while you're still reviewing it, you can generate attribution, which is the main thing required by most open source licenses. So let's see what that does. Now, this screen here, the attribution configuration, is basically for advanced users. There are all kinds of things you can do to filter what you get and how it organizes the material. For our purpose, we're just going to accept the defaults and generate attribution. And there you have it. That simple. Instead of editing HTML or editing a Word document or a spreadsheet, instead you can generate an attribution document ready to use and ship and share directly from DejaCode. And it will always reflect the latest information in DejaCode. So as you can see, we have a list of the packages that you just saw that were in Cargo Manager. And if we go down, you'll see that we have the normal things that you want to have in an attribution document. We've got the copyright, a declaration of the license, and any other text that might have come in the notice for that package. So, and the complete text of the license is also available. And so the attribution, which is organized by software packages, which is how we prefer to do it, and followed by a summary of all the licenses that are used. And this gives you an opportunity, by the way, to look, oh dear, are there any in there that I really don't want in my product? And you may have to take a look and see how they're used and see if that is in fact the case. So here you are. You have the attribution that you can generate at any time. You can look for the completeness, the accuracy of that, and you can review this to make sure, because this is what you are going to send to the public. Okay, enough of that. Let's go back to Cargo Manager. Now, there's another way to share information with people who are going to be receiving your product, and that is what you have all been hearing about, a software bill of materials, otherwise known as an SBOM. And we support several versions of that. We also support about code files, but we'll talk about that another time. But there are two primary SBOM standards, SPDX and CycloneDX, and we do both. All you do is click the button and it generates, just like that. Ditto with the Cyclone DX. Now, I've already generated a few, and I'm going to show them to you. Now, we're going to look under the hood, if you will. Don't be alarmed that we're looking at JSON. We're only going to do this for a bit, because I just want you to get an idea of what you are sharing with your downstream consumers of your product. And this is a valid SPDX 2.3 document with all the kinds of things that are normally found in such a document. And if you look closely, as I do without my glasses, you see we have the usual things that are required: the license expression in using SPDX IDs, and additional information that nexB adds using the external ref capability, a Perl. Perl's real important to us. That it means package URL. It identifies each package with great precision. Okay, it is an industry accepted standard now, a way to identify software. And so we support that, of course, and we support that in our SBOMs. And of course, we do that also in a Cyclone DX. And here we have the 1.4 version. Notice that it's a little different, of course. It's a different standard, but it's got basically the same kinds of information. And it also uses the package URL, the Perl. The main thing to know about a Perl is it not only tells you what the software is, but where you got it. Okay, and we got it from PyPy. That's one of the things it tells you. nexB has also defined properties to communicate to other people: the download URL, the file name, and the primary language, because we think those are rather important items to include. And we have that in everything. Now, Cyclone DX provides the ability for people to extend it through these properties. And we have, nexB has defined its own taxonomy for these, so that it is fully supported as the way that Cyclone DX works. Now, that's the last we're going to look at of JSON and spec sheets. We're going to go back to DejaCode. And now that you've seen how you can generate a software bill of materials, you might be interested in, well, how did the data get into this product? How did we get it there? Well, the answer is all kinds of ways. One of those ways is via imports. And here's a history of the imports we did. What did we do? We imported SBOMs that were created for other packages. And so DejaCode figured them out and loaded them into the product. So you don't have to read JSON. You import it into DejaCode, and then we give you our UI for working with, managing, viewing, and reporting on your product. And so this gives you an idea here of the imports that we did. How's that done? Well, we have this little button up here. There are a number of ways, and these are a few of them, to get data into a product in DejaCode. One is to import it directly from a scan, which you can do either from ScanCode Toolkit or ScanCode.io. Those are both open source projects sponsored by nexB and aboutcode.org. And we give you directions on how to run those scans and how to pull them into DejaCode. And so you can do that. Another way is to, and this is the really exciting one, because this gives you the complete support you need for software bill of materials. You can import a Cyclone DX formatted SBOM or an SPDX document, which is also an accepted SBOM. And DejaCode will take that, will look for packages, and assign those to the product. And it does that all for you, and it does it very quickly too. If you have an instance of ScanCode.io running. That's an open source project, a server project for ScanCode Toolkit. You can pull directly from a project there, um, and we give you directions on how to do that. Those are all the ways that you can get data into a DejaCode product. And once it's there, you have all kinds of tools to help you to understand what's there. Now, I'm going to back up to the DejaCode product list. And I'm going to show you a nice feature that shows you one of the advantages of using DejaCode for this kind of analysis. And that is your products don't stand still. You do new versions, of course. And so we actually have two versions of this product. And it's a simple matter of, in DejaCode, of just copying one or the other and starting to make your changes. We're going to compare them. So we're going to do this compare. Look at that. Now, if your product has lots of changes, you're going to have a huge list here. This is just a short list. You have lots of filters here to change what you see and which items you're going to see. You can look just for ads, just for changes, just for updates, just for removed. Or you can look at everything. But that isn't the point. It's to see what did happen. And so we see that we removed something that was in 2.8.4, not there anymore. We updated the version on this package, Kombu, and we updated it to 4.6.7. Good move, because this one had some problems. I just happen to know that. We added some new packages and we removed some more. So as you can see, you can go through this and it quickly gives you an idea. Oh, maybe I better look at the ads if you're reviewing a product, because you've already reviewed the other one, of course, before you sent it out. So this saves you a lot of time. And it also provides you with interesting things like the license. And notice that little thing. We're going to look at licenses right now, because one of the things you can do with DejaCode is set your usage policies on our really, really amazing list of licenses. Let's go take a look at, for instance, this one, which is possibly considered problematic, depending on your business. This might be okay for you, but in Starship, it's not a good idea. Okay, so because of the various license terms, one of them being source redistribution, and another being that it applies uh, network redistribution. In other words, if you simply deploy it on a network, that is considered distributing it, and it gives you, and the copyleft requirements kick in. So you can look at that and decide what you want to do. Do we need to think of another package to go in this product? Do we want to make sure that we're using it in a way that it does not give us copyleft to the rest of the product? That's the kind of thing you, as a product reviewer and analyst, would do. Let's go back to our compare. So there's that kind of information there. Now, let's just take a look again, since we're talking about licenses, at the whole license library available to you. These are sample policies. In other words, we applied these here because these are what a typical company might do, and at Starship, but they're not necessarily the ones that you would have, and but that is entirely up to you, and that's why we have usage policies in DejaCode, and we have a various number of licenses that you can see. One of the more, I'm going to show you a somewhat interesting one, and you can easily search. To give you an idea of the kind of metadata or extra information that we provide and that you can provide on a license. nexB provides these items, the identification. You provide your usage policy, and you can provide your own internal guidance. So you may have already explored this license. Your legal team may have done that. And there may be some guidance from them that you want to have here for everyone to see, so that when they look at this license, they know, oh, I better be careful. Modifications are not really cool with MPL 2.0 licensed software. And so you got to be very careful about that, because then the copyleft kicks in. So we have the complete text. We have the conditions, which you've already seen. These are the way you arrange these is up to you, by the way. We have various URLs for more information about it. The owner, Mozilla, of course. More information about your overall usage policy, which again is something that you can define, and a history of the license. How's it been updated over time, and that kind of thing. So all that information is here. Okay, enough about licenses in general. Let's get back to the product, because that's really what you're interested in. And let's go into Cargo Manager 2.9.5, the most recent one, the one that we'd like to ship soon. And we can take a look at a few more features and tools that you have available to you. You'll notice that some of these lines have been marked with yellow. That's because the license itself has been hit with what we call a compliance alert. And so it's telling you that, and again, that's configurable by you, depending on how you set up your usage policies. So you may want to take a look at that and see, what am I going to do with that? So we have this thing called the Bitwarden desktop, and you say, that's not in this product. We might use it while we're developing it and that kind of thing, but no. So maybe we go in here and say that, no, not deployed. Okay. Or something like that. And so now we've got one more thing. Let's just dismiss it and say that it's okay. We could even, there are a number of other actions you could take, of course. You could send a note to the product team. You could remove it. You could do a number of things. But anyway, that is one of the things you can do. Another thing that DejaCode provides you is the ability to look for new package versions. Here we are. There are 3 packages in this product that you might be concerned about. Well, 2 of them anyway, because you see that little bug there says we may have vulnerabilities on that package, that they have been reported, and they might be something that affects my product. So let's take a look at this one, for instance. DejaCode is fully integrated, and all you have to do is hook it up, and with our open source vulnerable code database. And this provides you with the information you might want to know about that. The actual vulnerability has been collected by the vulnerable code importer improver. It tells you that there's a fixed package, and maybe you want to use that. And it gives you lots of information about that vulnerability and the discussions that are online. We don't have to look at that right now, but that information is here at your fingertips. And so you have that ability then to know that at least there's a new version of that. That's a similar thing is here. And again, we can see that there's a fixed package. And so there are other packages that you can get to this way. And I meant to go here. And here's another one. We can take a look at this. And lo and behold, it's in our package DB. This is yet another open source project that DejaCode is integrated with. It's called the package DB. The name of it may change to Perl DB in the future, but right now it's package DB. And this is a automatically mined and curated set of packages that you can use and copy into DejaCode. Now, doing that isn't going to magically change it in your product. So we're not necessarily going to do that right now. It's up to your development team to do that. So we're going to go back to this, but you now have some information about that, and you have some ideas about, we may have to do just a little bit more work and review on this product before we release it. There's another thing that you can do, and this one's really handy. This is one of my favorite features. You can do a license summary. Because if you want to think of things that way, and especially if you have a rather large, lengthy inventory list, you can get down to the licenses. So you can flip it around and see it by license, and you can look for your favorite and your least favorite licenses and decide what to do. It's very likely that you've seen these licenses before. Again, these are examples of what your usage policy might be. Yours might be different, and you might have specific instructions on how to address any of these things inside your product, and that is entirely up to you. DejaCode's job is to provide the information, and there it is. It's all there, all ready for you by license. And again, you can easily just jump to any one of these licenses to get more information about it. Notice that we give you the SPDX key as well as our own key. It's just the way we do things. And so if we go back, here we are. So here is your inventory. If you wanted to get a hierarchical view, you could, but except it's pretty simple. It's one level. And if you wanted to add a notice, fine. And again, your own license. This is Starship's very own license terms. That's all. That's what this is. And something about you. So there you have it. You have your product. We've taken a look at some of the tools you have available to you, and maybe how you want to deal with that. One more thing I wanted to show you regarding that is that you might want to see, I talked earlier about this one. This one is MPL 2.0. You may want to make clear that so that no one will think that you need to provide source code redistribution for that. You might anyway, but you don't have to. So we're going to update that and say that that's going to appear on your attribution statement for that MPL 2.0 licensed item. There's also, notice, here's yet another one with that frightening little bug there. Let's see what's going on there. That is a Python package for certification that itself has a vulnerability. Take a look. And but fortunately, you've already defined that package right here in DejaCode. So if we were to take a look at that, we would find out that it's actually in good shape. It doesn't have one of those little vulnerability things, and it's the one you want to use, or maybe even a later version. So that is available for you, and that information is there. So again, as you go through your product and look at the different items, you'll be able to get information and make decisions, and you'll be able to keep track of what you've done, and it's there for everyone else to see. Now, A number of other things you can do. Suppose you decide, I need someone else to look at this. Fine. You can do a request. This here is based on a template. You have complete control over what this template looks like, the text, the fields on it, and everything. And you can do that as an administrator in DejaCode. If you have forms that you use now that people fill out, you can put them in DejaCode. If you use a popular workflow system, it's supported by the API, the DejaCode API, and you can integrate with that if you like. More information about that, of course, available here. But that's beyond our scope for today. But just be aware of that all of this, everything you've seen, everything can be gathered, collected, or added, updated, deleted using the API. So if your technical team is up to that, there it is. It's available for you, and it's fully supported. Here I can say that I want to review a few specific things. I can put some notes here. I can assign it to someone on my team, and I can give it a priority, and I can copy other people via email. Once that's done, it's attached to my product, and I'll know that there's an existing request, at least one, whenever I look at that. This request process, by the way, is throughout DejaCode and can be applied to packages, components, licenses. Suppose somebody had a question about a license, for instance. They could actually contact the administrator saying, I don't understand this guidance. Tell me more about it. And you could answer them. Or I think something's wrong. Those are the things you can do with the request process. Okay, but we're going to just leave that alone for now. But that is one of the things you can do. Yet another. You can do a report. Hey, if you like spreadsheets, this is the way to go. And many people do. We have in DejaCode, a reporting system that is completely up to you what kind of reports you want. You can write your own queries, and you can write your own what we call column templates to present the data. And this is going through the product we were just looking at, and it is putting into this report the ones that have what we call compliance alerts. Again, that's something you set up when you define the usage policy. Does it generate a policy alert? And if you like, you can export that in all kinds of ways. XLSX being one of the most popular for human readable purposes. But if it was going to go to another application, you could put it in JSON or any of these things and send it over there. Or if you wanted to do something that prints nicely, you can do it as HTML or doc. So there you are. That's available to you as well. You can share that with your product team. So we have looked at quite a few ways now that you can use DejaCode for the purpose of ensuring license compliance and ensuring that you've at least know about any potential vulnerabilities and that you've addressed them and that you have some plan on what to do with them. So again, you have the information here about the product. You have your complete inventory. It's available to everyone. And when someone looks at a package or a component in DejaCode that is on this product, they'll see the usage. So you'll be able to use DejaCode for product usage purposes too. When you are looking at a package saying, oh, gee, this has a vulnerability, how many products does it affect? You'll be able to do that. So for instance, if you were here, you can see that this is used on several products. Go Ethereum. Again, this one just requires a little bit of review because these are copyleft licenses. And as long as they're okay with you, you can just go ahead with that. But anyway, that is available on your packages. And again, you can do a request on a package. You can ask to have one added if you don't have that security, or you can contact the data administrator. Those are just two examples, though. You can make requests for all kinds of things in DejaCode. It's up to your imagination. So I've shown you reports. I've shown you requests. You can look at scans that you've submitted from DejaCode to ScanCode.io. Those are all here. And it's a happy looking screen, isn't it? And you can go directly to what we call the package DB, which is again is our database of a huge number of, and it gets bigger all the time, of mined packages from the wild. You can go to, we'll skip that for now, but you can go to our API documentation. Tells you how to use it. That's very useful. Now, let's go back here. A few more things I want you to know in case you missed any of the wonderful details that I showed you today. Not to worry, we have a user guide. You can go there. And some of the interesting things that I talked about earlier, like the package URL, very important to us, very important to the software bill of materials community. We have a nice explanation of it, what its elements are, and what it means in DejaCode. And it provides the best identification to get to vulnerability information. CPEs aren't necessarily the best way to do that, although it is a standard that's been around for a long time. But the Perl, the package URL, is the emerging one. Also, if you wanted to understand more about our scans, we tell you about license clarity. And there's some tutorials to get you going. As you can see, your first product, working with packages, working with reports. I told you that you can create a report. Well, try this out and you'll be able to do that yourself. No coding required. And you don't even have to know SQL. Just go ahead and use our tools and you'll be able to do your own reports in DejaCode. So that pretty much covers everything I wanted to do. And I'm assuming that everyone understands exactly what I said. And I want to show you just one more thing, if you will bear with me. Oh, I didn't want it to sign me in. Never mind. You can sign up for DejaCode for an evaluation anytime you like. Just go to that screen that I just went to, enterprise.dejacode.com, and click on the little sign up. And it'll ask you just a few questions, and you'll be able to rock and roll with DejaCode. Okay, I'm done.